track 11 from the House album House Share. Right, so we've reached track 11, and that's Doghouse. This is a 128 BPM tune, and I'm pretty confident this was an attempt at a happy house. I'm pretty sure this was an attempt at a happy house tune or uplifting house. It's got a bit of a 50s, got a bit of a 90s feel to me, and it has that trancey dreaming effect. If you know what I mean. It's, sometimes when you hear a tune, because it's just occurred to me that certainly the first half of these house tunes I've heard quite a bit. These later ones, like Lighthouse, Doghouse, not so much. I've heard Island House, which is next, a lot, because I really like it. But we've got 8 more, I think. Is it 8? 8 more to come. Yes, because we're nearly at 12. So after Island House, it's 8. And I haven't really heard those so much. So I'm sort of hearing them. Well, to be fair, I couldn't tell you what any. I'm going to have to listen to them before. Just to remind myself before I do the chat. So it just occurred to me that you might need to hear these tunes a couple of times, just, to get used to them maybe. I don't know if you've ever had that where you've, like, for example, there was a David Bowie tune, Absolute Beginners. When that came out, I just couldn't stand it. And the same with Cole, what was that called? Dancing in the Moonlight. Couldn't stand that song, Dancing in the Moonlight. But now when that comes on the radio, I'm like, I love it. I think it's great. I think the lyrics are clever, and I really like it. And it's the same with the Bowie tune, Absolute Beginners. It's just something about that. I can see the nuances in there and see how clever it was. But at the time, I was really disappointed by it. Very strange how that sometimes can affect you. Maybe it's similar to when you're a kid and you don't like sprouts, but then when you get older, you do. Or broccoli or something like that. Maybe. Anyway, so maybe I should point that out, that you might need to listen to them a couple of times. So what I've also decided, because we are now at track 11, so that means I just cannot see that someone joins this expedition at number 11. It just doesn't make sense. So if you are here at number 11, then you must have seen the others. So, and if you remember, I was saying I wasn't quite sure how I was going to publish these or post them or broadcast them. Oh yeah, let's say broadcast them. That sounds proper professional and a bit posh and a bit like radio-y. Oh, am I my Terry Wogan of my day? No, I'm not Terry Wogan of my day. That was very disrespectful for poor old Terry, bless him. Anyway, I'm going to broadcast this podcast 1 week before I upload the tune that the podcast is talking about. So, the reason I say that is because while you're running through the woods, you would have listened to the podcast, or you're painting, don't forget, you would have listened to this, but you don't want to listen to this ramble again just to hear the tune. So what you might be able to do, well, you will be able to do if, you're a proper supporter and, hardcore raver that, believes, you'll be able to go to the playlist that I make of these tunes, because it'll just be the track. So no talking or anything, and you can just play the track. So that might be like interesting as well. So maybe you could comment and hearing the track today, then when you're out running and you're painting or you're doing boring housework, and you can listen to the playlist later on, or choose whichever one you want and listen to it a couple of times and then see if your opinion changes. That would actually be quite interesting from a scientific point of view, to see how our brains work, because that's happened many times for me, and I'm sure you've bought an album of some band that you like because you liked the single, and then you played the album and half the album you didn't like and the other half was sort of okay, but then over time you suddenly got really into it, and then you really liked the tunes you thought you weren't going to. Just a thought. Anyway, back to you. You can disagree with me. You can say that's never happened to you. I'd like to know, because it certainly happened to me more than once. and even with my own tunes, weirdly, unless I'm brainwashing myself. Oh, hang on, maybe that's what it is. When you keep playing the same thing over and you're brainwashing yourself. That's fine. I'm happy with that. If I brainwash you into liking my stuff, that's a win. So yeah, we can try that. Anyway, back to Doghouse, track 11, and this tune I like. It does that thing to me where it's got this nice sort of rolling. It's got a lovely piano riff in it, and this haunting sort of vocal hit. And then I'm guessing it's a poem. I need to listen to it again, but it sort of blends and it rolls, and it gives me that sort of dreamy, closed eye dance floor, sort of arms moving around slowly effect that you could get away with back in the day because the place was full of smoke, unless the strobe was catching you looking in strange shapes. But we've covered a strobe for anyone here who's not from there. It makes you look like you're in stop motion. Yeah, so moving in jerks. So yeah, but this, as I say, so this tune's got that nice little dreamy feel, and I think it does pull in a bit of a 90s feel. So again, and the best thing about this track 11, is that it's followed by track 12. Now I know I've been bagging on about track 12 for all this time, but you're about to find out why. And we're dropping down, so the last couple of tracks we've had have been quite high tempo. So you had DOS House, a progressive house at 128. We had Roadhouse, another just like a vocal attempt, a bit ropey that one. I don't know what everyone thought, but I don't know, I like it. I like bits of it. I may remix that later on when I'm a superstar DJ, when this channel becomes YouTube's number one, whatever it is. Do they have number one, or am I thinking of Top of the Pops? So that one was 130, Lighthouse 128, Doghouse 128. So for the next track we'll be dropping down to 124. Now I don't know about you, but normally I tend to like the higher BPM tunes. I mean, back in the day when I was DJing, all the vinyl, anything I played, pretty much pitched the record up. So whatever the BPM it was made at, I was pitching it up at least 10 more Oh, sorry again. So if you don't know much about vinyl, vinyl is played at speed. So once upon a time there was a lot more speeds, but you get 33 and a half and 45s. So you've got your singles are usually played at 45 and your albums are usually played at 33. Now, once you've selected that with 33, if you've got more professional turntable, you've got like a pitch control, which means you can speed up from 45 or 33 to whatever your pitch control will let you go. Well, certainly Technics 1210s have pitch control on that. My decks, I couldn't really afford. To be fair, that's not true. I should have bought them. I walked past the pawn shop in Derby one day and they had a pair of Technics in there for 50 quid each, but I couldn't. I was going somewhere and I didn't want to carry them, and I thought I'd get them on the way back. What an idiot! I couldn't have only been a couple of hours. When I came back, they'd gone. I'm not surprised. I mean, you could pick up Technics from time to time for around £100 a piece, 70 quid a piece. But I kept leaving it. Never got them. Now I think they're £800 a piece. It's ridiculous. But I've got some. I don't know what they are. Sony's maybe, but they're direct drive anyway, and that's the important thing. For if you're mixing vinyl, direct drive you've got to have, because the belt driven decks are no good because it takes too long. Direct drive basically means that when you start the record it starts at 45, whereas a belt drive it sort of winds up to 45. So if you're beat matching and you've got a belt drive, the chances are you've got to flick it. You've got to flick the belt drive and hope that you flick it with just enough speed to keep it in time. Whereas the direct drive is going to be more or less. It's hard work with belt drive because there's movement on the speed. But anyway, I digress again. So I used to pitch up all the tunes I used to play. I used to love it faster because it was all about the dancing and the mood you were in. You always seemed to be in a much more energetic mood back then in the 90s in the rave scene. Maybe I know what it was. Maybe it's because we were much younger and full of beans. I certainly was full of beans. Couldn't get enough of beans. And but yeah. So for me back then, I really liked the faster tempo. But I purposely made a few of these as you know, a slower tempo, a lower BPM, because people nowadays aren't into the faster BPM, so I've been told. So that's something else you can tell me, especially if you're, or even if you're an old raver like me. Do you still like the faster BPMs, or are you mellowed a bit in like the lower ones? And if you're a younger raver, what is it that you like? Is it faster, or is it anything you can listen to on social media so you don't have to go out? I don't know. I that's just what I hear in the news, that young people don't want to go out anymore. I can't get my head around that. I mean, I couldn't wait, especially when you lived at home with your mum and dad. God, you had to get out. But I mean, how can you if you don't go out, you're not having an adventure. I mean, I know social media, it has got its own rules and life, but where's the adventure? I mean, the stories I could tell you just from going out, even like, especially when the night didn't go as planned, they are sometimes the best nights ever. So, you know, and how are you going to meet someone? You know, the fun of bantering with someone that you fancy, or you hope that fancies you, and even getting blown out sometimes if the person was good fun and you had a laugh. You still had a good time. And if you're out at a music event, you've got to listen to some music as well. Anyway, I'm wandering off, but so tell me if that's true. If you're a young person and you're listening to this, why? You know, are you into going out? Let me know. Anyway, so so let me know, faster or slower. What is your bag? And so here we go. We're going to listen to Doghouse now and see what you think. I think it's a nice piano, dreamy, trancey effect, and I think you're going to like it. So here we go. Doghouse, track 11.
Bye.